everyone, and thank you for joining us today on this episode of Strengther, a special initiative by CXO Digital Pals, where we are shining a light on the compelling tales of resilience, courage, and innovation as told by women who have left a lasting mark on their industries. Our guest today boasts an impressive career spanning over 3 decades, beginning in the realm of supply chain services industry, then navigating through the world of market research, and is currently serving as the CTO at Aspire for Her. Please welcome Lekha Bajpai.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you, Lekha, for accepting the invite and being there on this episode of Strengther. So, Lekha, we'll start with a rapid fire round where we'll get to know some prompt responses from you and more about you as a person. So, starting with the rapid fire, Lekha, what was your first job?
My first job was in the software industry in Calcutta, in a group called DPS. And I had the privilege to be working with one of the topmost technology persons in Calcutta, which is Mr. Matthew. He was my mentor, of course. And that's the area where it was into software and hardware, of course, a little into hardware and software both. But that's what my father led me into. He said that's the best industry for women in those times when I was entering into the into the industry.
Okay, so which is that one place that you most want to travel to?
Oh, okay. I would like to travel to the southern hemisphere. Basically, I haven't been too much to the southern hemisphere. So Australia, South America. I've been to Africa, but Australia is something which I'm targeting next.
Okay. And which is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is, of course, Three Idiots. So I love that movie mainly because the type of innovations which come up within the college and how things how are the youngsters getting into innovative practices and then leading to having the same thing in the external world also. So that's something which I really loved, and I'm always very excited about. In a very humorous way, all of that was presented.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you identify yourself as an introvert person or an extrovert person?
I am more of an introvert.
Okay. And do you prefer driving or flying?
Flying.
Okay, great. That was a superb rapid fire session. And now we'll delve into some more questions which will dig into your journey, your experience, and your point of views. So, starting with that, Lekha, we got to know that your parents aspired you to become a doctor. But it seems engineering grabbed your interest and you did in electronics, and then you started with supply chain industry where you were primarily doing the software development part, and when your first job was also into software where you mentioned about your mentor Mr. Matthews. So with getting a mentor right there in the first job, how important do you think the mentorship as an aspect is for anyone, and what are the key lessons that you learned from him?
So as you mentioned, my interest lied in engineering, and I was asked by my father to actually pursue software development. And I got into a software development company, a software and a hardware development country under the guidance of Mr. Matthew, and learned a lot of things with him. In this company, we were actually told to say that there is nothing which is impossible. A thing in those particular times, there weren't LAN systems were not available, and two machines talking to each other was not there. But he made it. We made such a software which could actually talk to two machines could talk to each other, and it was a real exciting journey with him. because he used to mentor us at every stage of life, starting from what we learned in college and how do you put that practically into practice, into the projects which we were doing. So those were the type of hand holdings which he used to do with us, and actually that really did help me a lot. um, Thinking about it, thinking back about it, I would say that every individual needs to get some mentorship, definitely, be it at the early stages of their career or it be at the mid career levels or senior levels. Everywhere you need some mentor who can actually handhold you. So when I got mentorship, I was at a very naive stage, and I was just entering into the corporate industry and trying to see how things would work. He would definitely help me out in that, and giving me the core knowledge to actually take things further is something which he helped me out. After that, there were many other mentors who also came in. There are a lot of things which happen within in the mid-level careers also. And how do you actually grapple with the other environmental issues which are there, or technical issues which do come up? So there are different stages of mentors which come up at different stages of your life. It could be family related, so there are family related mentors also who can actually, which could be within your family, like I had my parents for that. In the industry, there were mentors. My most of the time my bosses were my mentors, and they would help me to grow in the industry and see how I can do more and I can contribute more.
Okay. And having a mentor at a very early stage definitely helps the journey. And as you mentioned, you have been getting multiple mentors across your journey. That would have really helped. Lekha, I will now compare, considering that there were two main industries that you have worked over the span of 3 decades, the supply chain and the market research industry. How would you compare these two different worlds?
So, the supply chain industry, where I was the head of software and services, we were developing applications for the supply chain industry, and we were the first in the market to develop a big ERP for the supply chain industry for a third-party logistics company. We were actually a lot of actually that industry was quite very male dominated, of course, and because it was transporting parcels from one place to the other, or warehousing large parcels there. How did for us to understand everything about that industry, or for me to understand everything about that industry, I would need to get down to the grassroots level and understand each one of what processes are being followed. Because I've been a process person throughout, and that process person actually helps me to build large applications which will actually help the industry. So getting down to the grassroots level to see how the loading would happen on the trucks, how can our software help in that loading? So understanding all of that was a tough job, getting down to the field and getting to understand things there. It was a tough job, but the type of knowledge which we got there, it was very different. From a transactional system, capturing of data in the logistics industry and putting it up to a place where the senior most management of the company would be able to see the analytics at their desk, that if there is anything which is going wrong, it can be pointed out. That was one area where I could work throughout, from the transactional level data to the reporting and the BI and the data warehousing side of it. I could actually manage to get all of that done. After that, I decided, I've lived one span of the entire data journey, from a capture to the reporting side of it, which actually took me a long time to get done and implemented. So I feel the success of a particular application comes up only when you are actually implementing it, and your company is benefiting from from that. So the benefit which the company would get is by seeing the dashboard on their screens. From there, then I decided, I said, now I think I've done quite a lot in this industry. Let me move on to a data industry. As they said, data is the new oil. So I said, okay, that's the oil space where I should be in. And market research was had a lot of data, but there were not too much of places where we could do quick analysis. Analysis, of course, used to happen, and that's the base of market research. But quick analysis is something which was not there. The systems were not there behind it. So that's the space where I thought I will be able to contribute a lot more, given my experience. From a cultural perspective, both the companies were very different. Here, this was like a on the ground job, and here it was in market research. It was more of a desk job, where of course job was both desks itself, but in market research it was in office. We had to build up so many things, and gathering data also, there was a lot of learning experience on how do you gather data at the field also. But I already had that type of an experience in my supply chain company, which actually benefited me to understand how things happen in market research also. And then how do you get onto analytics? And analytics was the new buzzword. So I said, that's the place where I should be in. And that's how I moved to market.
And as you mentioned, Lekha, when we talk about supply chain, it's primarily a male-dominated industry. But when we talk about the market research one, there the ratio is still quite a lot better off.
So that is very, very different. Yeah, market research, there is no discrimination on the gender aspect as such. There are more than 50% women work in that industry. So I never felt that I had any bias as such or any of that sort in that industry.
Okay. So apart from biasness, how about you giving your opinion and getting some strategy or plan on the table? How was the reception of those ideas in a supply chain setup versus a market research setup?
So actually, I have not faced too much of resistance across in any of these industries. In supply chain also, most of the ideas which are coming out were accepted. In market research also, by the time I was in market research, I was a senior person. So people used to come to me for all technology related stuff. So it was my duty to give them the best of technology. So it was more of a different scale in my career. I was at the middle level when I was in supply chain, and I was at the top level when I was in market research. So I was heard more in market research, I would say, and I was wanted more.
So any specific obstacles if you were to compare these two industries? Specifically from a perspective of a woman, rather than in generic the operations one, but from when, as a woman playing a crucial role in both the sectors, any obstacles from that perspective?
I did not find too much of obstacles as such in my career. I would get help from all my male allies and help from in both the industries. I've really got a lot of help, and I hope I've given back also to them that way. I really have not had much of.
Okay, fair enough. And so now, Lekha, you are associated with Aspire for her. So what role, according to you, does a supportive community play in encouraging women to break down the barriers or thrive at the workplace?
Yeah. So after market research, actually, I said I had enough of corporate, and I said, let me help out the startups. So that's how I joined Aspire for Her. And at Aspire for Her, as I said, this is a startup, and my role is actually to build the technologies behind the entire show. I really feel, and I'm very passionate about it. I really feel that I want people to succeed in their careers or in their jobs, in their day-to-day jobs, based on technology. So they should be riding on technology and delivering their jobs. So that's what I do in Aspire for Her. Of course, enabling women to get onto into the workforce is what Aspire for Her does. We have a goal of enabling 1 million women to get onto the workforce. Might be we help them in their entry level, or we help them in their mid careers, or in senior levels also. So we would have emerging leaders, or we will have women on board, and we have such cohorts which are there, or we have such communities which we form, and with the help of communities we help them to enable themselves to take the stride further in their career. um, from the and we actually help them in a lot of skilling initiatives at the junior level, where they can help themselves to skill up, get confidence in various things, so there are some softer skills which they would like to have. We would actually also, we've seen a lot of success in getting mothers back to work. Women have left their careers, and getting them, and they had to leave their careers because of certain family issues, but now they are free and they can get back and pursue things for themselves. That's
Mm-hmm.
where we actually do a lot of work. Of course, that's not the only place, but that's something which is we feel very happy about getting those women back to work, because they've been able to contribute more to the industry. We're also looking at skilling up sportswomen who have actually left who've finished their career, and they don't know, means they in sports they don't have a very long life. So after that, what? So we skill them up to actually get back into the space. So basically we try and do for all types of women. We also do for entrepreneurs who are actually entrepreneur. We have a community called Entreprenari, where we help the entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs to scale themselves up in various ways. Some of them are at a nascent stage where they are building their enterprise, and some of them are at a stage where they can trade outside the country also. So we have those communities formed where we can help them. We connect with various organizations to see how these women can be helped and how they can get knowledge further and scale their business up.
Okay. And there's this phrase, setting your own pace. So, what does this mean to you, and how has it vested in your career?
Okay, so setting my own pace. Yes, I did that. Um, so at my initial when I just came out of college, I was like I wanted to run at a very, very fast pace, because I had a lot of aspirations, and I got my mentor, as I said, got a lot of inspiration from him, and I really wanted to run fast, and I did run fast. And when I say run fast, it's not only running in the corporate ladders as such. It's more of what information I gain, what is the type of information I gain which will help me further in my career. Uh, During after my marriage, again, my ambitions don't die, but the pace is like, you have to manage both the worlds. You have to manage your family as well as office. After my child also, and I had a lot of support systems in the house, and they helped me, and my mother and my mother-in-law, all of them helped me a lot.
Mhm.
So I tried not to reduce my pace there also, though the there were a few times where I had to balance both the worlds. um,
Mhm.
but my learnings and my pace did not stop there. After my children became a little bigger, I think things were quite good, and I could manage both my worlds very well, with support, of course. So my pace has never been slow. I would say my pace has been always fast, and I would suggest people to actually keep their pace fast and set their goals. So this particular space is you doing multitasking every time, and women are supposed to be very good at multitasking. So a lot of multitasking work keeps coming on their way, but you still have to define your goal and keep your target towards that goal with all the multitasking happening, but still your goal is there. It's like the Arjun sees the eye of the fish and he aims at the eye of the fish. So that's where you should define that the eye which you want to achieve, and keep your journey towards that eye. With all the other there would be things which are pulling you back, there might be things which are pushing you further. All of those things will keep coming up, but you keep your target in mind and keep working towards that. So it could be sometimes slow, sometimes fast, but you're still there and you achieve your success that way.
Okay. So, Lekha, now we are coming to our last question of this conversation. How do you suggest accelerating progress and investing in yourself to the new Gen Z workforce who are entering in their next phase of life? What's your advice for them?
So I think skilling up is a must. If you don't spend time to skill yourself up, you will not move further ahead. And it could be skilling up. You have different phases of life. So similarly, at every phase of life, you have a different requirement for skilling up. When I was junior, I was wanting to skill up on a particular language in technology, or a particular framework which has come up, and all of that. But when I started growing in my career, there's skilling up required for understanding how a leader should work, what is team management, what is all the softer skills which are required to actually take things further. So skilling up is a must in this entire career journey. And I mean, people in my team used to say, oh, you know what, I don't get time to do this. I have to do housework when I go back home, and I have to do this and I have to do that. But I have done it. I have also gone and done the housework plus the family work. But after 10 o'clock in the night, I used to start my studies. So I constantly skilled myself up with all sorts of certifications, all sorts of areas in life. If I want to understand what is enterprise architecture, so I went and did a course in enterprise architecture, and I understood what all can be done in those things. Since it was a supply chain industry, and there was a lot of talk about Six Sigma, I said, oh, let me do a Six Sigma course. Let me just find out what happens in that. And those are the things which I learned, and then I put it practically to use within the organization. So I would say that every individual has to skill themselves up and there are n number of resources available. There are a lot of technical courses available, a lot of soft skill courses available, a lot of mentors available these days. They are getting, we in fact, at Aspire for Her, we have a lot of mentors who actually can help the women get to understand what they are lacking in, and wherever they need support from a career perspective, we can help them out in their stages in life.
Okay.
From a entry level to even a senior level coaches, we would be able to provide.
Okay, so that's an amazing work that Aspire for Her is doing, and thank you so much, Lekha, for joining us today and sharing your invaluable insights and experience. And there are so many points that you shared with us today, starting from creating a balance to the need of skilling yourself on a regular basis, because upscaling is something which will definitely help you a lot as you progress in the career. So these are some really fantastic points that we derive from this conversation with you today. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.